Good evening, folks. This is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Friday, January 26th, 12:09 a.m., 2018. You're looking at the Albedo map, and it's showing snow at the 30th parallel here in Russia, as well as 35 degrees north here in Japan. That's a heads up, and we're going to be looking at the polar vortex shifting as we move into February. Frigid February, that is. Polar vortex poised to bring ultra cold air to U.S. and Canada. That's a heads up. The Midwest and East Coast endured a record cold end to 2017 and start of 2018. Residents there should get ready to do it again, while those living in normally cold places like the Arctic and Alaska should prepare to get warm. Warm, warm, extremely cold. We'll be looking at this pattern. It mimics the pattern of glaciation in all the last glacial periods. Now, what we're looking at here is the forecasted polar vortex into February 10th, starting today. And I'm going to freeze it here on the 31st. Let's bring it through. By February 6th, it's going to have shifted to the northeast. And I want you to look at the pattern here. This is exactly mimicking where this low pressure, the polar vortex, splits in two, one over the North Pole and another one over North America. This is the polar vortex double pattern that causes glaciers to grow here in this exact region I'm circling. This makes the warming in the ice-free corridor here up in Alaska and this area to become warm. So this pattern is the glacial building pattern that we will be seeing repeated winter after winter. And by the 9th of February, it's going to be the worst pattern we have seen to date. This is the 20 below line dropping all the way into the center of North America. Heads up, Iowa, for November or February 9th. So by the 10th, as far out as the model goes here, it's going to be the coldest we have seen descending into the grand solar minimum. Tokyo records the lowest temperature in 48 years just yesterday. The Japan Meteorological Agency has issued a very rare low temperature advisory for the capital, Tokyo, as cold air started affecting the country on Wednesday. Storm Georgina hit Scotland with heavy rain and gusts 140 miles per hour. A rapidly developing low-pressure system coupled with cosmic ray flux named Storm Georgina by the UK Met Office swept eastwards over northern Scotland on January 24th before moving out to the North Sea. And that's what you get downtown, folks. A state of emergency in Paraguay's capital, Asunción, after floods leave 20,000 homeless. Totally flux there. A state of emergency was declared on the 24th after the pattern repeats in a completely different place with the same exact result. Oh, the trifecta. Floods in Mozambique leave 11 dead and 15,000 homes destroyed. Heavy rain affecting Mozambique since January 7th, 2018 left a trail of destruction. At least 11 people dead, 75,000 affected, and 15,000 homes have been destroyed in the worst province, Nampula. Totally flux there. And in December was the darkest month in Moscow's recorded history with 6 minutes of sunshine. Let me repeat that. December was the darkest month in Moscow's recorded history with 6 minutes of sunshine. I wonder if there could be an explanation. The duration of sunshine in December usually amounts to tens of hours, says meteorologists. Look at how he's dumbfounded. Do I forget the snow? Do you know the sun? I know no sun. There is a large burning ball of sun. Stratospheric radiation from March 15th to May 2017 shows a 13% increase in galactic cosmic rays at 37 north latitude. Stratospheric radiation, galactic cosmic rays, from March 2015 to May 2017 increased 13%. From May 2017 to the end of 2018, we're expecting a 20% increase of galactic cosmic rays. Now, according to CERN and the cloud experiment, could there be a link between galactic cosmic rays and cloud formation? Yes, there is. Solar activity has a direct impact on Earth's cloud cover. A team of scientists from the National Space Institute at the Technical University of Denmark and the Institute of Physics at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem have made a direct connection. As the solar output increases, galactic cosmic rays decrease. So during the last solar maximum, which just ended, cloud cover decreased. Now as we descend into the grand solar minimum, cloud cover increases. To what degree do variations in the sun over time affect climate on Earth? Well, a whole heck of a lot. Let's take a look. Let's come down here to the last 800,000 years. The sun controls climate over the last 800,000 years. This is the rate of change of ice volume on the left. When you have a spike down, that's no ice. We're at this no ice spike, which is called an interglacial. For the last 800,000 years, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 interglacials, 800,000 years. There's one every 100,000 years, and we're in the most recent one. Now I want to bring your attention to the curve up here. The spike is curving, and if we go to the past, each of these spikes that curves goes directly in the opposite direction. That's maximum glaciation. So this curve is telling us a few years ago that we're going into maximum glaciation now. Because the sun controls climate over the last 800,000 years. And here we can see it's still controlling it. Clouds are the Earth's sunshade. And if cloud cover changes for any reason, you have global warming, or in our case, global cooling. This is a new paper, The Missing Link Between Cosmic Rays, Clouds, and Climate Change on Earth. And I'll leave you links to it, because it's important that we all know what's happening to the planet. This is the influenza in Japan. This is coming out today. The second and third week of January, up to the 21st, influenza cases increased 1.1 million to 2.8 million total. So there is a pandemic happening in Japan currently. Influenza has a population of now 3 million, 1.1 million in the last week in Japan. And I can tell you locally at the Pagosa School District, 33% of the students are absent for the last week, as well as teachers. So it's not a pandemic here, but 1/3 of the population is affected by the flu here in Colorado. I'm not included because my immune system is very good. So that's a heads up. No one's going to be telling you that. Let's look at the seismic uptick. The entire West Coast, South, Central, and North America is awake again. That happened a few weeks ago. And then last week, this was alive. Now we're back to this side. We have massive, moderate uptick associated with the large quake here off the coast of Alaska, including all these aftershocks. We've had a 5.8 and a 5.0 in the Ferndale Transverse. And now, well, this is completely predicted. This would be relegating the stress from the major quake up to the north. So this is nothing significant. Just this transverse part of the Cascadia rupture aligning, which is a good thing. But there's still a large quake about to happen in this area at any moment. We also have an uptick up here in Lincoln. What do we have going on? Soda Springs, Idaho. People are probably fearmongers everywhere saying that Yellowstone is going to erupt. That's nonsense. This is the normal predicted uptick based on the waning magnetosphere. And also we have some interesting things happening in space weather currently too. We're going into geomagnetic instability with simply slight fluctuations in solar wind. But we really don't have time to cover that. Lava spilling from the Philippine volcano, ash coating the land. Guys, Mayon is still erupting. More lava was spilling today as we're making the video, sending up columns of ash over farmland and towns already coated in gray after nearly a 2-week eruption, which is only ever increasing. Friday's lava eruptions have been intense but sporadic. The ash plumes up to 5 kilometers and 15 volcanic earthquakes, as well as emissions of sulfur dioxide detected today. That's a heads up. Mayon is not done. We also have Ducono, Reventador, Sinabong, Popocatépetl erupting today. Et al. Let's talk about the 1257 mega-eruption of Samalas Volcano in Indonesia and the 1258 English food crisis. And what does that have to do with us? Well, a lot of people say that that eruption caused the Little Ice Age, and that's BS. Because if you can look at all these major grand solar minimums, there's a drop down and then there's a blip here. Drop down, blip, drop down. Drop down, blip, drop down. Drop down, blip, drop down. And what happens at the blip is major volcanic activity, causing the temperature to drop even further. So these areas are when major volcanic events happen during the cosmic ray flux, which cause the planetary temperature to plummet. 1250, 1257. This is causing the plummet and the English food crisis. It's amazing. That guy's not amazing, but science is amazing. Shield Tyson deGrasse. Now here are the list of large known volcanic eruptions, and we can come all the way down to the 1257 Samalas eruption, which according to Wikipedia may have triggered the Little Ice Age. The Little Ice Age was already happening. It was our cosmic rays. The solar dynamics were waning, and then right here the volcano went off, causing it to drop down. Just like we're going into the eddy minimum. Now NASA assures us that a potentially hazardous asteroid has 0 chance of hitting Earth. I'll leave you links to this. It's expected to get an interstellar pregame show on the Super Bowl Sunday, as a large asteroid is scheduled to pass relatively close to home just before the big game. The asteroid, dubbed 2002 AJ129 by NASA, is classified as potentially hazardous. However, it will be very far away. 19 times the distance between Earth and the Moon, and it will not hit us. Guys, I real quick want to show you something here. This is the last 140,000 years of the planet Earth. And red is the temperature proxy. Yellow is the CO2. And what I really want to quick do something for you here, which I think you'll appreciate. What I have is this section of the graph right here. About 80,000 years. I'm going to take it over here and just paste it on to where it should be. Now this is where we are right now, right at this point. Just like 100,000 years ago, we were at the same point of the interstadial. And then the solar dynamics began to wane, dropping us into major glaciation, which lasted for 90,000 years. At the end of the glacial period, there was massive dust events. And then around 12,900 years ago, the sea level quickly rose, inundating all the ancient cultures. And we've been in this solar maximum warm for the last 8,000 years. And it's about to end. Just like it has every 100,000 years. When earlier we showed you the 800,000 year spikes. So that's a heads up and a boom to science. We'll go over a few more graphs and we'll end the video. One other thing I want to show you coming out of CERN is the galactic cosmic rays and rainfall. So we know that galactic cosmic rays cause cloud cover to increase. But the exact opposite you think would happen with rainfall. As galactic cosmic rays increase and cloud cover increases, rainfall decreases, which causes major droughts. And that's because all of the fresh water is locked up in the cloud cover above the earth. And that's a heads up. And there's a direct correlation to extreme drought and lack of rainfall when these cosmic rays spike. So as we have these spikes in cosmic rays in the next 3 years, we're going to experience extreme drought globally for the next 3 years. And that's going to fall off for 10 years and then reoccur 3 years later. It's a mishmash, and it's hard to put your head around, but we're doing it piece by piece. On February 1st from 10 to 12, Ice Age Farmer, the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, and Adapt 2030 are going to talk about solutions. So join us for a wonderful 2-hour conversation on Revolution Radio. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do so now. Share this with like-minded people and be safe.